What the best producers will do is they'll come in knowing that if they take the decision-making problem away, they'll have a better chance of hearing all the potential objections a prospect might have about their planned solution. Sidebar, if you get the I want to think about it, the insistence of they need to think about it, talk about it on their own, you can almost totally assume the problem is you. So one thing I really wanted to talk about is one of maybe the most important things I feel in all of advisors' appointment processes, and maybe even in just any sales position at all. The number one thing most advisors need to be proficient at, maybe even perfect at, is handling the situations where a prospect wants to think about it. Any sort of objection like that might come in that closing appointment where you've brought a solution to the table, you're asking the client to make that next step, and they hit you with that objection. It's one of those heart-wrenching moments, gut-wrenching moments. I remember it feeling stumped by that objection a lot and kind of fumbling over my words and trying to figure out what I was going to say to them in those moments. And once you learn how to handle this, you've set yourself on a path where you're virtually unbeatable as a sales guy. We've came to this point where we had a really educated discussion. We felt and thought through all the nooks and crannies, and we found a problem and we've solved it. What did we miss? Why wouldn't we move forward? Give me a good reason. You get to this point where you almost start to badger the client. And so you've got to learn to conquer the I want to think about it of this sales world. And I think there's really 3 key steps as far as I'm concerned in handling that sort of objection. And there's one key step in preventing it from ever coming around and stumping you in the process. So let's start with the preventative measure. When we get into a closing appointment, we have to imagine that the sales process has built up this giant ball of pressure. The pressure is, I'm going to have to make a decision. I'm going to have to decide. And people struggle with decisions. A lot of people struggle with decisions. But we've got to get them comfortable that this is a safe space for them to share the objections. And the objections of I want to think about it come when you haven't done a good job of creating a safe space for them to feel comfortable talking to you about anything, whatever their concern is, whether it's a trust issue with you or a money issue or, whatever it is. So it's on us as a salesperson to prevent those I want to think about it by creating a pressure-free environment, to let them know that it's a safe place for them to talk about anything. And so what I've seen some of the best folks do is they take the decision completely away from the decision-making appointment. If they're ready to move forward with something at the end, they're going to move forward with it, regardless of whether you tell them that they don't have to make a decision today. You taking that away from them does not prevent them from actually moving forward. If they're ready to move forward, they'll say, yeah, well, what's the next steps? How do we get this going? For instance, today, folks, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, thanks for coming in. Obviously, we've done a ton of work over the last few weeks. We're excited to have you here. I just want you to know, today, we're not making any decisions. We're not carving a path forward. You're not buying anything today. I just want to take today to show you kind of where we thought there were some problems, what we think a good solution might look like. The only thing I'm going to ask from you today, here's that shoe about to drop, is if there's something you're concerned about, if there's something that you want to think about, if there's some sort of dialogue that we want to talk about, I want you to know I'm on your team. I want to talk about those things today. That's the promise I want you to make me, is that we're going to talk through any concerns you have, questions you have. There's no stupid questions. There's no concern too little, too small, too big that we can't discuss today. And so if we can make that promise today, we'll have a real productive appointment. If not, it might fall on deaf ears. We might not get anywhere today. And so what the best producers will do is they'll come in knowing that if they take the decision-making problem away, they'll have a better chance of hearing all the potential objections a prospect might have about their planned solution. All right, so let's talk about the 3 steps if they do end up giving you the I want to think about it situation. The first step of it is agreeing. Sure, of course you need to think about it. It's a big decision. And I want you guys to think about it. I want you guys to have some time to chat together without any other influence. I really want you guys to feel comfortable, both with me and us and our solution, and you even write down some questions you might have. You may have some already kind of pondering in your mind. Either way, I want you guys to have that time. Now, keep in mind, we obviously are quite busy, and so the second step of the third steps is, after agreeing, is scheduling a follow-up. So we're going to schedule them. We're going to get them on the calendar. Obviously, I'm a busy guy. Our office is very busy, and the odds are that if we just try to randomly connect, you might not get a hold of me. So let's make sure we pin down a time. How long do you guys think you'd need to come to a conclusion about what you're thinking about and talk all this through? A week, 2 weeks? Give them all the time in the world. It really doesn't matter. Okay? We just want to get something on the schedule. The nice thing about scheduling it too is, like, it's a double-edged sword. It takes the pressure off. It makes them feel like, ooh, this guy's about to leave. He's gonna leave me alone. We're gonna get out of here scot-free. We don't have to make any decision. We got all this great information. But two, it also schedules me that I have a hard time that I'm gonna come back and be able to follow up with them again, right? So there's a nice benefit to get this next appointment scheduled. But the real key to the 3 steps is this last step, which is hey, before I go, right as I'm about to exit, I'm about to leave. Hey, yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Think about everything. Talk it through with anybody you want to talk it through with. Just so I know, before you go, what is, like, the most concerning thing for you guys? And I'll get them to just give me a foot in the door. What is the most concerning aspect? What are you guys most concerned about? Right as I'm about to leave, what's got you most confused or the most concerned? You can phrase it however you want. But right as I'm about to leave, I'm going to throw them this last little bone, like, hey there, why don't you tell me what's bugging you the most? Whatever they say first after that is the thing they are the most concerned about. And what do you have now? Not the I want to think about it objection that's ambiguous and the one that you can't handle. The true objection and your chance to handle it. That's a good, valid point. The liquidity concerns. But remember, or maybe you could remind me. Good salespeople always ask questions. What's got you the most concerned about the liquidity need? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. And now we're actually having a dialogue about the thing they wanted to think about. And what's actually happening now is they're realizing subconsciously that this thing that they didn't want to talk with me about, the thing that they were concerned about, whether they thought it was a stupid question, whether they thought it was going to make me angry, whether they thought it was going to create some discomfort for them, they're realizing it's not that uncomfortable at all. Oh, we're talking about it. Oh, and he's not mad. He's not snaring. His horns haven't come out. He's educating me in a nice manner, and he's handling it with tact, and he's not pushing me or pressuring me to make a decision. You follow those 3 rules, you'll put yourself in a position where you kind of rid yourself of all these I want to think about it, and now you're back to what you're probably already pretty good at, which is solution development. And so if it's an objection that can't be fixed by the solution we already have, you're already in your mind thinking of a way that you could provide them a different solution. If it's an objection that's really not a concern at all, you're diminishing it, and appropriately diminishing it, and moving on in the sales cycle. You're realizing whether it's a roadblock or a dead end, and you're moving forward. You follow those rules, you'll rid yourself of the I want to think about it, and you'll make more sales. We guarantee it. And remember, having a great closing appointment is not only about handling the objections and I want to think about it. It's also about having a great first appointment, a great discovery appointment. And the rest of appointments from there on. We did a great episode just recently all about the discovery appointment. If you want to check that out, be sure to do so. We think you'll really like it. If you like this video, if you have any suggestions about new content, or you have any questions that you think we didn't hit, or maybe even suggestions on how you handle the I want to think about it, be sure to drop those comments below. Give the video a like, that always helps. And if you are not already subscribed to the channel, be sure you do so. We'll see you here next time.